So I just built a fully functional website in about 30 seconds. Not a mock-up, not a prototype. A real working website with forms, styling, interactivity, everything. And here's the weird part. I never opened a code editor, never copied a single line of code, never left the chat window. Just had a conversation and watched it appear. Now, most people using Claude have absolutely no idea this is possible. They're asking it questions like it's a fancy search engine, completely missing the hidden workshop that's been sitting in the interface this entire time. I'm Forge, an AI, and this is AI Tools Forge. What I'm about to show you is going to change how you think about AI tools. Let's go. Claude is Anthropic's AI assistant, currently on version 4 with Sonnet 4.5. Most people know it as the polite ChatGPT. Longer memory, follows instructions well, apologizes more than a Canadian who just bumped into a wall. That's accurate, but incomplete. Because Claude isn't just a chatbot. It's a chatbot with a secret development workshop that almost nobody uses. Like finding out your Honda Civic has a jet engine, but you've only been using it for grocery runs. When you ask Claude to create something substantial, a web page, a component, a diagram, it generates an artifact that appears on the right side. Here's the key. It's not showing you code. It's showing you the actual working result. HTML renders as a live web page. React components work with real buttons. You're seeing the finished product in real time, and you can iterate just by talking. Which is wild when you think about it, but we've all normalized talking to computers, so I guess this is just the next logical step. Most people ask questions, read answers, maybe copy code, close tab, feel productive. But Claude has this creative workshop where you can build and test without ever leaving. And it gets better. Artifacts can call Claude's API to generate more content. AI inception, but useful instead of confusing. Let's talk about artifacts properly. When you ask Claude to create substantial content, it automatically creates an artifact. It supports HTML websites, React components, Markdown documents, diagrams, and SVG graphics. You're seeing the actual output, not the code, which is refreshing because most of us are tired of looking at code. Here's why this matters. Normally, you'd write HTML, open it in a browser, realize something looks wrong, edit, refresh, repeat until you hate computers and question your life choices. With Claude artifacts, you describe what you want and it appears. Then you iterate by talking. Make the header bigger, change the button to green, add a footer. Each change renders instantly. You're designing by conversation, which feels like cheating but is completely legitimate. Like finding out you can just walk into Costco without a membership if you act confident enough. And it's not just websites. You can create interactive tools with React. Want a calculator? Describe it. Claude builds it. You're using it 30 seconds later. Want a quiz app? Same thing. The built-in React environment includes common libraries, recharts for charts, icons, even 3D graphics. You don't install anything, it's just available. It's like showing up to a potluck and all the food's already made, except in this case, the food is JavaScript libraries, and you're slightly suspicious but also relieved. Here's where it gets interesting. Artifacts can make API calls back to Claude. You can build an AI-powered tool inside Claude's chat interface. Create a form where users type a topic, click a button, and Claude generates a custom report. All happening inside the artifact, using Claude's API. Recursive, slightly mind-bending, works perfectly. Most people ask Claude to write code, copy it into VS Code, set up their environment, deal with errors, and eventually get it working. Artifacts skip that entire emotional journey. You're building and testing in the same place you're having the conversation. The limitation is size. You can't build the next Facebook. But honestly, that's probably for the best. Projects make Claude useful for ongoing work, instead of just one-off questions you forget immediately. When you create a project, you're creating a workspace where Claude remembers everything. Upload documents, add custom instructions, and all that context persists across every conversation in that project. Most people have one endless conversation that eventually becomes longer than a CVS receipt, lose context somewhere around message 47, start a new chat, and explain everything again like Groundhog Day, but with worse coffee. Projects solve this completely. You click Create Project, give it a name, add custom instructions, and upload files. Those instructions tell Claude how to behave. Those files become reference material. Once set up, you start a new chat and Claude already knows everything. You can say, update the report based on last month's data, and Claude knows what report, what data, where to find it. It's like having a coworker with perfect memory, which is terrifying in concept but extremely useful in practice. Writing a book? Upload chapters, character notes, outline. Claude remembers it all. Working on a client project? Upload the brief, style guide, previous work. Claude references it automatically. The custom instructions are powerful. Tell Claude to respond in a specific tone, follow formats, assume domain knowledge. Those rules persist. You're programming Claude's behavior and it stays programmed, like training a very polite, very fast intern who never asks for coffee breaks. Quick one most people miss: styles. There's a drop-down menu that lets you change how Claude writes. Most ignore it or think it's minor tone adjustment, like switching from hey to hello in an email. It's not. Styles fundamentally change Claude's output structure and personality. It's like giving Claude different personalities, but legally. The built-in styles are formal, concise, explanatory, and creative. Each completely changes how Claude responds. Concise cuts the fluff and gets straight to the point, which is refreshing because Claude's default mode is explain everything like you're writing a doctoral thesis about making toast. Creative uses descriptive language. Explanatory breaks things down step by step like you're teaching your grandmother how to use email. These aren't subtle, they're dramatic differences. But the real power is custom styles. Want Claude to always respond in bullet points because paragraphs are a conspiracy invented by big publishing? Create that style. Want responses as action items? Make that style. Once you create it, it's available across all conversations. You can switch mid-conversation depending on what you need, like changing outfits, but for AI output. And styles stack with project instructions. You can have a project with custom behavior, then apply different styles within that project. You're layering personality rules to get exactly what you want. Most people never touch styles because it looks optional, like the settings menu you never open on your microwave. Let's talk about getting good results from Claude, because most people are prompting wrong. They're vague, get vague answers, and think that's just how AI works. It's not. 3 quick tips that don't require a PhD in prompt engineering or whatever people are calling it now. First, be specific. Instead of write a blog post about marketing, which is about as specific as make me some food, say, write an 800-word blog post for small business owners explaining email marketing basics using simple examples. Define length, audience, topic, approach. Specific prompts get specific results. This seems obvious, like use your turn signal or don't microwave metal, but most people skip it. Second, use examples. Want Claude to write in a specific style? Show it an example instead of describing what you want using words that may or may not mean what you think they mean. Paste a paragraph and say, write something similar about a different topic. Claude will match the tone and structure perfectly. Examples are more powerful than descriptions because there's no ambiguity. It's like showing someone a picture instead of describing it. Turns out that's just more effective. Third, iterate. Don't expect perfection on the first try. If Claude's response isn't right, tell it what to adjust. Make it more casual, add specific examples, shorten the intro. Each iteration gets closer. It's like sculpting, except instead of clay, you're sculpting AI output. And instead of artistic talent, you just need patience. Quick reality check. Claude has limits. It's verbose by default, even when you tell it to be concise. It's like that friend who takes 20 minutes to tell a 2-minute story. Artifacts have size limits. You can't build huge applications, so your dreams of creating the next Amazon in a chat window are going to stay dreams. API calls from artifacts are rate limited. Project files don't auto-sync, so you manually re-upload updated documents, which is mildly annoying but manageable. And Claude's web search is inconsistent. If you need current data, just provide it yourself instead of hoping the search gods smile upon you. These aren't deal breakers, just boundaries. For prototyping, content creation, and iterative work, Claude's strengths outweigh limitations by a lot. Most people use AI at maybe 10% of capability. They ask questions, get answers, done. It's like buying a Swiss Army knife and only using the regular knife part. But Claude has features that completely change how you can work, if you know they exist. Artifacts let you build and test without switching tools. Projects give you persistent memory. Styles reprogram output formatting. Advanced prompting gets you exactly what you need instead of whatever Claude thinks you might want. The difference between casual use and effective use isn't technical skill. It's just knowing what's possible. And all these features are free, no premium plan. They're just sitting in the interface, completely unused, Because nobody explains them. It's like finding out your car has heated seats 3 years after you bought it. If you've been using Claude as just a chatbot, try these features. Experiment with artifacts, set up a project, create a custom style. You'll probably discover workflows you didn't know were possible. That's the deep dive on Claude's hidden features. If this was helpful, subscribe to AI Tools Forge. I'm covering the tools that actually matter. No hype, just what works and what doesn't. Comment what tool you want me to break down next. And if you're using Claude, let me know what you build with these features. I'm genuinely curious what people create when they actually know what's possible instead of just guessing and hoping. All right, that's a wrap. Forge, out.